Hi everyone, I think I'm live, so hopefully you can hear me. Yes, I think I can see myself there, so that's working. I wanted to talk to you today about this, the International Journal for Cosmetic Science. And I'm a member, I subscribe to it because I'm a member of the Society for Cosmetic Scientists here in the UK, which means that I automatically get sent a hard copy of this and all of the digital copies every month. And it's filled with really useful scientific information. When you buy it, just by itself, it costs a fortune. So if you can become a member of the society, and then you'll get sent a copy for free, which is incredible. Anyway, there's an article in here for the latest copy, which is February 2018. Which I thought was really interesting. So I thought I'd have a chat with you and live stream about it and tell you a little bit about what's in this article. So the article is called, I'm going to read it out. I'm not going to read the article to you, but I'm going to be talking about it. But it's called Observer Blind Randomized Controlled Study of a Cosmetic Blend of Safflower, Olive and Other Plant Oils in the Improvement of Scar and Striae Appearance. So what that means is they looked at different plant oils and how they can affect scars and how they can affect stretch marks. So really interesting for us as organic formulators because they were looking specifically at plant oils. And this study was done in Germany at the Institute for Applied Dermatological Research. So they undertook the study in 2016 and 2017, and obviously the results have just been published. And I think they're really interesting for you because I know that a lot of you guys want to make different oil blends. Oil blends are really popular in the organic formulation world. In fact, I have one here by one of our graduates. So this one is a stretch mark oil made by our graduate Zane, who runs Atlantis Skincare. I'm not sure if you can see that well because it's the label reflects a little bit because of all the beautiful gold on there. So this is Zane's stretch mark oil, but I don't actually see that many people make stretch mark oils or oils specifically for scars and stretch marks. So I think it's quite an interesting niche there. Anyway, let me tell you about the research that they undertook. So basically what they did was they actually looked at a product that already exists on the market. Now I'm not going to talk specifically about the product, but let me tell you about its composition. So I highlighted it here somewhere. Where was it? It's basically, of course I've lost the bit I need now. Here it is. It's 55.9% safflower oil. It's 42% olive oil, 2% grapefruit essential oil, and 0.1% tocopherol as an antioxidant. So as you can see, it's really simple. A blend of 2 carrier oils, 1 essential oil, and an antioxidant with it. And this product is sold on the market. It's trademarked. It's sold in Germany, but I actually think I know the product because I used to live in Holland, and I think I remember seeing it in the shops there as well. So it's obviously a global brand that sells this product. And they then asked these researchers to undertake some research to look at the effects of their stretch mark and scar oil to see how it actually worked. Now, these researchers will have received some money for this, but obviously, you know, as all scientific researchers, they try and do this unbiased because they can't do these things for free, as no one can. So they wanted to look specifically at scars and at stretch marks because scars obviously have a different color to the surrounding skin. They can have they can invoke lots of emotional feelings in people. A lot of people don't like scars. I've got one here on my chin when I fell off my bike when I was 17 years old. And I don't like it. You know, most of the time you don't see it, but I try not to talk with my chin up so no one can see it all the time. And the same goes with stretch marks. You know, it's a normal fact of life that people get stretch marks. I have them because I've given birth twice, and they're very, very common. But they have this emotional feeling where people feel that they don't look nice and there's something they don't want to show to the world. So for that reason, people like to use different products on them, including oils. And in terms of treatment agents for stretch marks and scars, occlusion and hydration seems to be the main winner in terms of a formulation. So this study decided to look at this particular oil blend and to see how it would actually treat these stretch marks and scars. So got 80 volunteers together, which is quite impressive. 8 of them were men, 68 were women. So 8 plus 68 is not 80, but I believe some of them fell off. And then some of them had stretch marks, so about half of them had stretch marks and half of them had scars. And they then got them to apply the product over a 60-day period, so 2 months, and they did it daily. And they also had a control patch somewhere on their body, which was obviously probably quite close to the stretch mark and the scar. And then they would also measure on that control patch to see what the difference was between where they applied the oil and where they didn't apply the oil. And then these researchers came up with something called the Patient and Observer Scar Assessment Scale. Now, I'm not sure if they invented this themselves or if it's something that already exists in the industry. It's not something I'm familiar with or have come across in particular before. But that means that they had two different scales. They had observers who looked at the scars and the stretch marks to see how they were affected by the oil. And they had patients who looked at the scars and the stretch marks to see how they were affected by the oil. And obviously, in terms of the patient, it was more subjective because they were just looking at how it felt after a 60-day period. In terms of the observers, they had more sort of robust measurement tools, and they looked at it in different ways. So they looked at things like thickness, pigmentation, the surface area, the pliability of the skin, the relief, so the extent to which surface irregularities are present. And then they actually gave them scores. So this is what the observers did. And then they also asked the patients, do the scars or stretch marks hurt? Do they itch? What about the color? Tell me about the pliability. Tell me about the thickness. And again, tell me about the relief. So are they more irregular to your normal skin? And what was really interesting is that after 60 days, they then went back and they asked these questions again. So they had the observers looking at the stretch marks and the scars again, and they had the patients looking at it again. And really interesting, they both groups found a difference, a positive difference. So they found that applying oils, like this wonderful one by Zane from Atlantis Skincare, actually had an effect. And they found that the appearance improved, that the stretch marks felt more pliable, that the skin felt softer, and in general they felt that the skin that it provided a long-lasting, soft and supple skin feeling. So what an amazing outcome, right? Here are researchers looking at plant oils and how they can affect the skin, and they found a really positive outcome. So the observers found, the researchers found less of a positive outcome than the patients, because again, their research was, or their questionnaire was a little bit more subjective. So if someone came to you and said, after 60 days, does it feel better? You would just sort of feel it and look at it and think, I think it feels better overall. So they saw a more marked improvement overall. But the main message is basically that these oils really had an effect. So I think about 60% of people who took part felt that it had a really positive effect. 30% were undecided, and about 17% said that it didn't, but this is normal. This is a good outcome overall. And they felt that overall there was a significant improvement in scars and stretch marks that had been treated for 8 weeks with this oil. So why is that? Well, that's the big question, really. So they felt that these oils are rich in linoleic acid, which is a polyunsaturated fatty acid, and that these particular fatty acids can have a really good effect on the skin. They said they're reported to be effective in scar management, and the mechanisms by which these fatty acids function range from changes in collagen organization to inhibition of post-inflammatory mediators. So what they mean is that the inflammation in the skin is reduced by linoleic acid and other polyunsaturated fatty acids. So they said, therefore, we assume that by adding to the pool of free fatty acids in the epidermis, these fatty acids serve in the normalization of stratum corneum integrity and development. So they're saying that these fatty acids in these oils that we used actually help normalize the skin and help actually reduce inflammation around these stretch marks and scars, which is why their appearance is therefore then reduced, and maybe the redness or the color, the pigmentation that's associated with it is also changed slightly. So this particular oil blend included safflower oil, which contains about 75% linoleic acid, so very high. So which other oils contain high percentages of linoleic acid? I made some notes here. Poppy seed oil is a great one, 70%. Grapeseed oil, another really high one, 76%. Excuse me. Evening primrose oil, 70%. Sunflower oil, 72%. So you can see that by choosing the right oils for your formulation, it can have a profound effect on your user's skin. So what I want to encourage you to do is go and find a scientific article this week like this one, and I'll put up the link to it and the citation for the scientific article below afterwards. And if you want to become a member of the Society of Cosmetic Scientists, I recommend it just so you can get this, because it's a really valuable piece of information that's just delivered to your doorstep every other month. Formula Botanica students can become members because we'll sponsor you. We'll provide a reference for you to get in. If you're not a student, then obviously we can't provide references for people we don't know. But it's definitely worth doing because you get all this really valuable scientific information sent to you. So I hope that was useful. This was my 10 minutes of plant oils and their effect on stretch marks. And we hope to do a few more live streams like this, including some of our podcasts and other live streams here on Facebook, and some other webinars as well. So stay tuned, and if you're not already on our mailing list, go and sign up for our sample class on formulabotanica.com so you can try out one of our sample classes. And if you're not following us on other social media platforms, please go check us out on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, where you can find us as @Formula Botanica. Thank you, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.